In this video, I'm going to talk about the set overload bit, one of the other features of the ISIS and one of the ISIS optimization tools that we can use it. First, we should remember what is the overload bit and what is the function of the overload bit. This is the PDU or packet of the ISIS. Here, as you can see, we have one flag and this is the overload bit. I will show you this overload bit in the sniffing of the packets of the ISIS in this video, but you learn about the overload bit in the previous videos. What is the overload bit? You know it. Let me to review overload bit's function. In ISIS, in special cases, a router needs to sense or needs to set the overload flag. You know that in ISIS we need to send for example LSP for advertising or link states. In LSPs we have some flags, for example attachment flag or overload flag. What is the overload flag? Overload flag is a flag that we should set it when we have a problem or experiencing a problem about the ISIS in this router, and because of that we don't want to receiving a traffic that is not necessarily should pass from us. For example, assume that in this scenario R2 is experiencing a memory shortage. It might be that the link state database is not complete, resulting in an incomplete or inaccurate routing table. By setting the overload bit in its LSPs, other routers can ignore the unreliable router in their SPF calculation until the router has recovered from its problem. The result will be that no paths through this router are seen by other routers in the ISIS area. However, IP and for example CLNS prefixes directly connected to this router will still be reachable. This means that for the networks that we can reach them from other paths, we don't use this router because this router has not efficient resources for example forwarding the traffic. But for the traffic that we can reach them directly from this router, again we are using this. For example, overload bit can be a mechanism in ISIS that we can say to other routers that please don't use me to reaching other neighbors or other routers. I am not a transit router. If you want to send traffic, you should ensure that the only path for the, for example, a specific destination is from me. In that time, please give the traffic to me. But if you have another path for to reaching to the, for example, a specific networks, please use that path, not me. This is the specified function of the overload bit, and you learn about the overload bit in the previous videos. But we can set the overload bit manually in special cases. This is the for example topics that I'm going to talk about that in this video. We can set overload bit. Okay, and we can set overload bit intentionally, means I am setting the overload bit, not the ISIS. Why I should set the overload bit? For some reasons, you can choose to setting the overload bit. Let me to talk about these reasons that why we need to setting overload bit in some cases. Look at here. This is the command that we can use it for setting the overload bit in this router. The first command is set overload bit on startup. We can write these commands and talk about each of them. For example, specifically, the first is set overload bit, and then using on startup, and after that we have one option, the second. Okay, assume that I'm using the 10 instead of the second. What does this mean? This means that when this router is shutting down and after that is starting up, it should wait. After it started, it should wait for 10 seconds, and in the 10 seconds, in this period of 10 seconds, it should set the overload bit. Assume that the